Hey there. So if you're a new parent, I'm guessing you're swimming in a sea of advice on how to give your child the best start, right? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and focus on the one thing that neuroscience says matters most. And spoiler alert, it's way more powerful than any flashcard or app. Okay, let's get into it.
You know, we live in this culture that is just obsessed with early achievement. There's this crazy pressure to make sure your toddler knows their ABCs and can count to 100 before they even walk into a classroom. We're told this gives them a head start. But is that what the science actually says?
So look at this. It's such a powerful contrast, isn't it? On one side, you have the myth we're all sold, this intense focus on early academics. But on the other side, that's what decades of brain science actually point to as the real foundation for a brilliant mind. Connection, safety, and yep, just plain old play. So let's really unpack this myth. Why is this relentless push for early academics not just, unnecessary, but maybe even missing the entire point of what early childhood is all about?
And believe it or not, this is not a new idea. Dr. Arnold Gesell, who was a total pioneer in child development, figured this out decades ago. His work showed that pushing kids to read or do math way before they're naturally ready, well, it doesn't actually make them smarter or more successful down the road. So here's the crucial takeaway. Kids who learn these skills when their brains are actually ready for them, they catch up really, really fast to the kids who started earlier. There is no lasting advantage to that early academic push. The real advantage comes from something else entirely.
And boom, there it is. This is the huge pivot we all need to make in our thinking. We've got to shift our focus from what our kids can memorize to how connected and safe they feel. Because that feeling of connection, it's literally building their brain.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty science of this. Let's take a look at what is actually happening inside your child's brain during those first 5 years, especially when they feel loved and secure.
When a child experiences those strong emotional bonds and what we call relational safety, their brains develop these amazing capacities. And we're not talking about little tiny gains here. We are talking about measurably higher intelligence, a stronger ability to focus, better problem-solving skills, and so much more resilience when they face challenges later in life. It's huge.
And listen, this isn't just some nice, fluffy theory. Research from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child backs this up completely. Responsive love, secure attachment, these aren't just feelings. They are biological necessities that are actively shaping the neural pathways that will govern everything from attention to empathy for the rest of their life.
And that brings us to the absolute core concept of this whole explainer. Before any real, lasting learning can happen, your child's brain has one fundamental question that it needs answered first. This, right here, this is the first lesson. Before any phonics, before any numbers, a child has to learn this foundational truth through your actions, through your responses. That feeling of safety, of being truly seen for who they are, and of being loved with no strings attached, that is the true launchpad for all other learning.
And here's why that's so critical from a brain science perspective. On the left, you see what's happening in a stressed brain. When a kid feels anxious or pressured, the thinking part of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, it basically just shuts down. It goes into survival mode. But now look at the calm brain on the right. When a child feels connected and safe, that same part of the brain just opens right up. Curiosity ignites, and learning feels natural, even effortless.
Okay, so this is all great information, right? But how do we actually put this incredible science into practice? Let's break down 5 simple but really profound shifts you can make in your daily life.
So here they are, the 5 pillars. Building emotional safety, encouraging free play, speaking to their identity, narrating their world, and this one might be the hardest, just slowing down. Let's look at what each of these actually looks like in real life.
First up, building emotional safety. Okay, picture this. Your toddler takes a tumble at the park. Our instinct might be to say, "You're fine, it's not a big deal." But a much more powerful way is to validate their feeling. By just getting down on their level and saying, "I hear you, I'm here," you're not fixing the problem, you're co-regulating their nervous system. You're teaching them that their feelings are okay and that you are their safe place. This right here builds emotional intelligence, which is the single strongest predictor of future success. Second, we need to totally reframe play. It's not a reward. It's not a break from their real work. Play is the learning. When kids are playing, they're running these complex simulations. They're practicing problem solving. They're developing creativity, and they're learning self-control. So go ahead, swap their worksheets for an afternoon building with blocks or making mud pies. Let their imagination run wild.
Third, let's talk about how we praise them. We need to shift our praise to speak to their identity. Praising an outcome, like saying, "You're so smart," can actually create a lot of anxiety to always be smart. But when you praise the effort, "Wow, you worked so hard on that tower," you're building resilience and a growth mindset. And the last two shifts tie this all together. Narrate their world and slow down. Narrating is just being their sportscaster. "Oh, you're putting the red car in the box." It shows them they're seen. And slowing down, well, it's about presence. Putting the phone away at dinner, just lying on the floor with them for 5 minutes. These quiet little moments are where the deepest connection gets built.
All right, so let's bring this all together with one final golden takeaway. After everything we've talked about, what's the single most important message to really carry with you? It's this beautiful metaphor. Think about it. Your job isn't to be a drill sergeant for the ABCs. Your job is to be a gardener. Your job is to tend to the soil, to water the roots with love and safety and connection. When you do that, learning doesn't have to be forced. It just blossoms, all on its own. And please, please hear this, because it's the most reassuring truth of all. The goal isn't perfection. I mean, that's impossible anyway, right? The goal is just presence. Showing up, being attuned, and offering that safe harbor for your child, that is more than enough. It's actually everything.
So I'll just leave you with this little question to think about. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. Maybe it's 5 minutes of uninterrupted floor time, or maybe it's just putting your phone away during a meal. What's one small way you can choose presence today and water those roots?